What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm doing a video that I've wanted to do for a long time, and that is film school worth it from the perspective of a freelance videographer? No, it is not, but let me tell you why. Okay, so before we start this video, I just want to say that this is totally my opinion. I am in no way a college advisor or anything like that, so please take that into consideration. I basically broke this down into 3 things to reference my decision. The first one is financial, so how much is the school costing you based on what you're getting out of it. The second is knowledge, and that is what you're actually learning in college, and will you be able to apply that to your job afterwards, and do you need that knowledge in order to do the job properly. And the third is requirements. So is the job that you're wanting to get, does that require a college degree, or could you do it without it? So before we start this video, I want to give a little bit of background information on myself. So I go to school at Northwest Missouri State University in Maryville, Missouri, and it costs roughly about $4,000 a semester without scholarships, and that's living off campus, of course. My major is mass media, broadcast, and production with an emphasis in video production, and the total enrollment for the school is, I believe, 9,000. Actually, let me look. Okay, current enrollment is 7,100 students, so that gives you a good idea of the size of the school, and it's definitely a cheaper school on the spectrum compared to other colleges, especially state colleges and even bigger film schools. So that's definitely something to take into consideration, and something I'm glad that I took into consideration before I went to a big film school and spent a lot more money than I have right now. So what do I want to do with my degree once I graduate? Well, actually, I just want to basically be a freelance videographer and have my own company, and eventually grow my company to where I can hire people under me, to where I can move to more of an overseeing role and quit editing and shooting video, because I don't want to be doing that my whole life. I want to move to more of a business role and kind of manage under me instead of being the one who's actually shooting and editing the video my whole career. So is film school worth it? So looking at financials, like I said before, Northwest is about $4,000 a semester, but if you were to look at a film school that's in Los Angeles, you could be paying as much as $30,000 a semester, or maybe even more. So what you have to ask yourself is it worth graduating with that much debt? And in order to ask yourself that question, you have to ask, what are you going to be doing after college? So for me, being a freelancer and taking a business role, that's kind of a weird question, because it kind of comes back to, do I need that degree in order to have my own company and operate under myself? And the answer to that is no, I don't need that degree. But if you are going to work for a company, then maybe you do need that degree, so maybe spending that amount of money would be worth it to you. But then again, you have to ask yourself, is the college that I'm choosing and the money that I'm spending on this degree gonna be a good investment for the job that I'm gonna have afterwards, or that I'm going to try to get? Because honestly, here's the thing, and this is definitely my opinion, but if you're going to go to a film school and spend $120,000 over 4 years, and with film, usually when you're right out of college, you're not going to be making the most money, especially if you're trying to get into the movie industry. It's definitely an industry that you have to work yourself up in, and that's honestly a big risk to take when that much money is on the line, depending on your financial status and if you can afford to pay that much for college to begin with. But for someone like myself, I chose to take the cheaper road because I just don't want that financial stress on me right out of college, because I don't know exactly how much money I'm going to be making. With videography, you do have the opportunity to make a lot of money, but you also have the opportunity to not make very much money. So it just depends on a lot of your business skills and how you run your company, if that's the route that you choose to go. Okay, so the next topic on the list is knowledge, and basically for the rest of the video, I'm gonna start talking from the perspective of a freelance videographer. And I know there's a lot of other jobs in film, but in order for me to share my opinion, I feel like I need to do that. So here's a big question that I asked myself about college, and that's basically, do you have a drive to learn on your own, or do you need the structure of college in order to make you go to the classes and learn that type of stuff? And I think that's a really big thing, because there are a lot of other resources out there where you can learn the same exact stuff, but you have to have a drive of your own to go out there and find those things. Like YouTube, there are millions, thousands of videos on YouTube about how to be a videographer, but if you don't have the drive and you don't treat it as a hobby, then maybe you're not gonna go searching for that kind of stuff. So I guess that's something to think about when deciding whether or not you wanna go to college for that sort of thing. And if you are wanting to go in broadcast and you're wanting to work for a company or a news station, they have a lot of equipment that you can't go on YouTube and learn about, or it's gonna be a lot harder to. So if that's what you're wanting to do, then yeah, I definitely think you need to go to college for it. So the next thing that I wanna talk about is the connections. And obviously, if you're going to college, you have the opportunity to make a lot more connections than you would otherwise. And those connections are usually people who are the same age as you and even at the same skill level as you at that time. So a good thing that that can have is that can really push you to get better and can basically give you a drive to want the content that you're producing to compete with what everyone else is producing. So in conclusion to all of that, does college teach you valuable knowledge that you will use in your career? Of course. Can you find that information elsewhere and not spend as much money? Yes. Okay, so the final thing that I want to talk about now are the requirements. So are you going to be a freelancer who's working for yourself, or are you going to work for a company, or are you going to try to make it into the film industry? So for me, being a freelancer, do I need a college degree to do what I'm doing? Absolutely not. Does someone who's working for a company need a college degree? Most likely. And the film industry, I'm not too educated on that. I would say it would probably definitely help, but it might not be 100% needed. So the requirements for me in order to get most of the jobs that I've gotten, the big thing is showing a demo reel or just showing your work in general that you've done. Because most of the clients and people that I talk to, they really don't care if I have a degree or not. All they care about is what kind of work have I done and can I do the same kind of work for them? And that's it. So with that being said, what I've learned over the years is that sometimes it's more important for me to prioritize making my own content that I'm going to be able to show my clients and get more jobs, rather than making sure I get an A on every single homework assignment and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong, I still want to graduate with a good GPA, but since I don't necessarily need my degree. So for the question, do you need a degree? It really just depends on what you're doing. For me, I don't. Would I spend the money on college again? I would not. I would definitely try to start my company earlier. I would have done more free work in the beginning of my company to build a bigger portfolio faster, because that's one thing that I struggled with. I just didn't produce enough content early on. So is it worth the time and the money that you're spending? Not for me, not for someone that treats it like a hobby and someone that has such a big passion for it that I do want to go on my own and learn everything that I possibly can about videography. Is it worth the time and money for someone who's wanting to work for a company? I really think so. Is it worth the time and money for someone who just chose this career field and is a little bit more behind than someone who treats it as a hobby? I would say so. So I guess the whole point of this video is to ask yourself, is college worth the money that you're spending, or are there other ways that you can go out there and still learn the information that you need to learn in order to further your career? And like I said, I think it really just depends on what kind of stuff you're doing. For me, I think there's other ways. I have a year left of college now, so I'm not gonna stop now after I've spent that money initially. But if I would have known then what I know now, would I have went to college for what I'm doing? I do not think I would. But anyways, if you're watching this video and trying to figure out whether or not you want to go to film school and have any more questions, please leave them in the comments below and I will answer every single one of them. I hope my opinion helped broaden your perspective on the topic. And again, this is just my opinion. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video if you liked it. Also, please subscribe to the channel. I do all sorts of videos on videography. And with all that being said, I will see you guys next time.